Chapter 25. Old Scylla the Vixen muttered her charms and spells in a sing-song voice. Sometimes she did a hopping little dance around the sickbed. Clooney was no fool. He watched the fox sprinkle magic herbs on the pillow, reciting old strange spells as she did so. The old frog, Clooney thought. All the mumbo-jumbo and magic nonsense. Why does she need it when she knows she's a perfectly good doctor? Scylla had placed her poultices and healing salves on all the warlords' wounds. After bandaging them neatly, she had administered a potion that would deaden the pain and induce sleep. Clooney was satisfied. He had been treated by healers many times before. Scylla was the best. All the added muttering, dancing, and trickery had done merely to enhance her reputation, to pull the wool over the eyes of stupid, ignorant creatures. She may be a fox, but she'll never outfox me, Clooney thought to himself. Scylla had assured him that there were 3 weeks' rest. Combined with her healing skills, he would be fighting fit once more. 3 weeks. At first the rat leader had raged and sworn. He had never been out of action for that long in his life. But secretly he knew the fox was right. Without her, Clooney would have been dead or permanently crippled. Like all of her kind, Scylla was a slippery character. What did she expect to gain from this? Loot and plunder from Redwall? Scylla had never been allowed past the abbey gates. She was certain that if Clooney's army overran Redwall, there would be enough treasure to keep even the greediest creature happy for life. Now, as the potion took effect, Clooney felt himself drifting off to sleep, lulled by the ceaseless chanting and murmuring of old Scylla. He had come awake like a scourging tiger. He knew that the fox was up to. Old Scylla had lived up to her wits for many years. She was a counter-spy by nature. In any dispute or conflict, she was inadvertently sold secrets to both sides. It was a dangerous game, but one that she had paid well for this far. Her crafty golden eyes had not been idle for a second since entering Clooney's camp. Scylla knew exactly how many rats, weasels, stoats, and ferrets were able-bodied enough for combat. Also, she had seen the work party gnawing industriously on the base of a tall poplar. If it wasn't going to be used as a battering ram, then Scylla was a trout. And by her own diagnostics of 3 weeks, she knew that to the day what date of the next attack of Redwall would be. The vixen watched Clooney's eyes close under the influence of her medicine. These warlords were all the same. They never gave credit for their brains to anyone except themselves. What Big Oaf was, snoring like a fox cub in his earth on the winter's night. She turned to the armed rats who guarded the sick room. She issued orders in a confidential whisper. I want no noise, please. Your chieftain must have complete rest. Don't let him exert himself until he wakes. Now, you'll have to excuse me. She made her way to the door. Fangburn and Redtooth stood barring it. Where do you think you're off to, Fox? Scylla licked her lips. She tried to look kindly but earnest. Actually, I was going off back to my den to replenish my stock of herbs. And if you wish me to treat your leader properly, of course. Redtooth prodded her with his spear. Clooney gave strict orders that you must stay here until he's better. The sly fox blustered. But my good rat, surely you must realize that I can do nothing without my stock of herbs. Now please let me pass. Fangburn shoved her roughly. Sit down, you're not going anywhere. Scylla seated herself. Her mind was racing. Then at least let me go out into the churchyard. I've got some fresh air. Besides, I can tell my young assistant what herbs I require, and he can fetch them for me. Redtooth was not convinced, but she said you've got to stay here. Scylla smiled inwardly. She had them where she wanted them. She put on a serious expression, shaking her head gravely. Then you had better let me have your names. That way I can tell Clooney when he wakes full of pain with festering wounds. No doubt he'll want to know who it was stopped me trying to cure him. This crafty statement did the trick. After a few whispering words between the two rats, Redtooth turned to Scylla. Listen, Fox. You go out into the churchyard and tell your assistant to run this errand. But Fangburn here will be right beside you with a cutlass in your ribs. One false move out of you, and you'll be a dead healer. Is that clear? Scylla smiled ingratiatingly. By all means, let your friend come along. I have nothing to hide. Out in the churchyard, Chickenhound, who was the son of Scylla, sat sunning himself upon a tombstone. Fangburn did not see the secret wink that passed between the two foxes. Chickenhound was as devious as his mother in the matters of espionage. His face was a picture of blank innocence as he listened to Seal's instructions. Now listen carefully, my son. We have a very sick rat inside that church. He is in urgent need of my special remedies. I want you to run as quick as you can back to our den. Bring me back some snakewort, cuckoo spit, a medium scale, 3 fine strips of willow bark. Oh, there's so much to remember. I better write it all down for you. Seal turned to Fangburn. Do you carry any writing materials on you, sir? Fangburn spat scornfully at her fox's feet. Are you trying to make fun of me, healer? What do you think I am? Writing materials. The idea of it. Seela smiled disarmingly. I thought not. No offense. I'll just make do with some bark and burnt twig. Where could I obtain such things, please? Fangburn pointed solemnly with his cutlass. Over there by the cooking fire. Be quick about it. A few minutes later, Seela had presented Chickenhound with a scroll of bark that she had written upon. There, that should do it. Now hurry along, my son. Don't stop for anything on the way. Isn't that right, Captain? Fangburn puffed out his chest, proud that the fox knew his rank. He pointed to call out Chickenhound. Listen to what your mother tells you, young feller. Get back here and with the stuff on the list as soon as possible. Be off with you now. The young fox took off like a rocket. Fangburn leaned on his cutlass. That's the way to deal with the young'uns. Seal looked at him in admiration. Indeed it is, sir. He never goes that fast for me. It's obvious that he's got an air of command about you. Fangburn colored slightly. This vixen wasn't such a bad creature after all. He gestured modestly to the church with his cutlass. I think it's time we bent back inside. Orders, you know. Oh, quite. Can't have you getting in trouble, can we? Said Cielo with the most flattering tone. As soon as he was out of sight of Clooney's stronghold, Chickenhound slowed to a leisurely walk. He unfastened the bark scroll and read his mother's message. To the Abbot of Redwall Abbey. I know exactly when, where, or how the hordes of Clooney will attack your abbey. What price will you give me for the important information? Cielo the Vixen. Chickenhound sniggered noisily. He knew precisely what his mother was requiring him to do. He recalled Cielo's favorite saying, I sold hens their own eggs back and stole the whiskers from a farmyard dog. The young mouse ambled along the dusty road to Redwall. The hedge rose, echoing with the sound of his